Hello, my name is Asleon. Welcome to How I Built. Today we're gonna do Wanderer. He was my first 5-star. I didn't even want Wanderer. I said, neither of these two look interesting. Ito and Wanderer. I really want Ito, no, I don't have him. That's a side point. I did their trials. Wanderer's E. Did that. I was sold. I now have a Wanderer, who has been my main for the past 2 years because he is a strong character. Anyway, building him is honestly really easy. You just... Where is it? You know, you think I'd be able to find after how many times I've done it. You farm this domain over and over and over and over again until you get enough of these. And then once you're happy with the ones you have, you move on. I've heard it's hard to balance on his crit rate, crit damage. It's not something I've ever had trouble with. But he should have all his stuff. I don't think he's sharing with anyone. Let me get rid of that real quick. I guess I just haven't looked on it here. I don't know. But currently he's got 2100 attack, 54 EM, which Wanderer doesn't really care too much about his EM. EM is nice on him though. He's got 51 over 199.8, so basically 50 over 200. 109 ER, and then of course he has 61 Animo damage bonus. Meh. Anyway, I did get him his signature weapon. So mine gets his signature. He's got, like I said, he's got the 4-piece of the Desert Pavilion with... 1 second. I think Arlo has his... That's not what I needed. What is this? Damage. Who has his... Why? Is that something else that's not... No, these are all good. Who has this flower? Sethos, did you take it? Is this one I have? Put him on this right now. Was I like gonna put him on? I think he had this one for a while. Yeah, I like this one on him. Okay. We'll go over the attributes again, because I was wrong. He was missing an artifact. I forgot to give Arlo that one sometimes. So his attack is 2200. I think the EM stayed the same at 54. His crit rate is 56, and his crit damage is 220. I thought it sounded low. I think his ER got up by 3. It's 109. I think it was 106 before. And of course, the animal damage bonus stayed the same at 61. Artifacts, I recommend 4-piece Desert Pavilion. Con-wise, I don't have any. I've heard they're good. Let's look at them. Win favorite state, attack speed. Sounds good. I'd assume they're good, so pretty much I've heard that his are pretty good. You can pause to read them if you like. I just don't really care to read them right now. I don't have any, and I may or may not get him cons sometime. I don't know. Talent-wise, mine's Triple Crown, but that's beside the point. Is Wanderer, I feel like this is how really, really easy to find a decent catalyst for him. Recommendations. First off, both of these, fine. 5-star wise. Both of these work really fine. Ignore that. That was an accident. Let me think. Windslip, I feel like could work really, really well for him. It gives him crit damage. He skills crit rate. So that's really nice. But if you don't have any of these things, there's a lot of other ones that can work on him. First off, this one can do really well. You get additional attack, his normal charge attack. That's all he uses. Extra damage. That can work. I personally wouldn't put him on this, but this could also work. I wouldn't put him on this one. He doesn't really need the EM. Unless you're running him as a swirl team, then you want him the EM, but I would never run him as a swirl team. Clearly, I've never looked at all of these. But besides that, if you don't have any of those, I had him on this piece for a long time. And, like, it's a 3-star weapon. There's a good chance you're gonna get a lot of it. So it's a twin nephrite. It at level 90, it'll give you an additional 15% crit rate. Which again, he scales crit rate, but I believe max it's like 19 crit rate, and then you have this, and it gives some additional crit rate. And then, of course, dependent on your artifacts and substats, you can mess around with that until it looks right. And then defeating an opponent increases his movement speed and his attack speed, which I always found nice. I feel like this is a really solid 3-star option for him, and that it works really well. But if you have it, I would recommend the Wind Slip, especially if you would like to refine it. That just makes it better. Now, the only thing is the every time he takes the field is a different random song. The attack is really nice, especially if you've refined it. I haven't, as you can see. And the damage bonus, nice. The only one he doesn't really want is the EM, because again, most of the time he's going to be in a team where he can't swirl. Is typically how he's built. I built him mostly in teams that he can't swirl. He can typically swirl one thing or the other, but EM's not all that important for him. But at 2, I always thought 2 out of 3 songs is good. That's nice, and you do swap on and off him relatively often. Because after his E goes down, well, I guess it would depend on your team rotation. Mine, after the E goes down, I'll put it up. Artifact-wise, options. I've only ever used Desert Pavilion for him, so I know nothing about these other options. Normal text opponents, trigger Valley Rate. This is... No, this isn't the Zhao. Zhao's is the other one. This is a Yacho set. Normal attack damage by 70. I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but if you want to build Wander, I recommend farming the Desert Pavilion Chronicles. And I don't consider the domain that hard, but it all depends on how strong your characters are. I also don't consider it that bad, because the other set is just a hybrid bloom set, which technically not too many characters want to use it, but you can use it on a variety of characters. Now, I will say the Desert Pavilion Chronicles itself can only be used on so many characters. It's really, really good for Wanderer, and it can be used for others. I've heard it. My brother said it can be used on Zhao, and I agree with that. You know, and a damage bonus. Normal attack speed. Of course, this part isn't as useful for him. You can, of course, use his charge attack, but it also gives a plunging attack damage increase of 40, which could be used for Zhao. But overall, artifact-wise, I really just recommend getting Desert Pavilion Chronicles. At least that's what I did. I'm sure both of these can work out just fine. I mean, both of them sound like they work really, really well with them. I just personally never put them on anything with this. Con-wise, you can do whatever you want with cons. 5 stars. All of mine are gonna, unless they get really lucky or they're standard banner, they're gonna be no cons. Okay, here's the fun part. Let's see what they recommend. Honestly, his main damage is going to come from his normal attack. This one is going to do a lot, and then his ult is where you get the final bit of damage. I agree with the recommendations. Level it in that order. You want to go his base attack, his E, then his ult. You do want to make sure you level him to where he gets this, because this is a big deal if you can get it to work with you. Because he can get an additional 20 crit rate if he can Gap Cry on the field. Which is one reason I really like to run, which will be more in the team building section. I really like to run Layla with him. Because it just works so well. A lot of the time I will also run Bennett, which will give him an attack increase. I don't care too much for the Hydra bonus, but it can work out really well there. And then it just gives him extra energy, and I've never cared too much about that for him, but it's not like it's bad. And you can only have 2 different kinds, so really I would go for these 2. But, on that note, Wanderers, this is Wanderers' main team. It has been this for a while. I get it like the past year, because for the first while I had Kazuha here, and then eventually I decided he needed a shielder, and I gave him Layla, and I really liked that, because like I said, you can have, of course he does swirl on this team, because Layla and Bennett both apply. Bennett doesn't apply that much. Layla does decent application. Yeah. This is what Wander looks like. If you watched Gami, well, you'll know how well Gami did. He died. He didn't die. Shunyun died. That was sad. But, honestly, I might just... See, that's the problem is when they get hit by things. Which is why I like having the shielder. But I might just see what he... not using his team. Thanks for shoving me away and calling you mine. Actually, you know, I'll play as normal so you can see how I would normally use this team. Except, no, I should have waited for Benny's ult to be up, and then I do that, if he still had his ult, I would use it, and then continue attacking. He died. I always go to apply Layla's shield, because the rotation's honestly really nice, because by the time his E, which is why, again, I don't care for the Hydra buff almost at all, is because by the time his E is up, her E is back up. So I can just go in a nice little loop there. And then of course the ults make the loop a little bit longer. But that's how I run Wander. Now there are a lot of different teams you can run with Wander. Cause let me run you through a few. Team comp wise, this is my favorite. Layla, Bennett, Barzon, him. He has 2 boppers and a shielder, and Layla does apply cryo, and if he can get that cryo on him, he gets additional crit rate. I personally consider it that really, really nice. Now, of course, what's also nice is that they're all 4-star, so it's easier to get. Unfortunately, you could also just not get the 4-star. Separate problem. Now, him I can actually show you. Honestly, I think I actually just have a second Wanderer team lying around. Do I, or did I get rid of that? No, I got rid of that. Okay. So, another team you could run with him is, what was it? It was a freeze team. I think it's her, I can lay along the team. I forgot what, I probably do her, Jincho, Layla. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with them. I'm gonna keep this right here. But, Jincho, if you have him, I think he could work really well, especially if you wanted to try doing a freeze team with him. Because, I mean, he uses his auto all the time, and Jincho will be hitting like crazy. Farina is honestly not a bad option, but she's not a bad option ever, so... But, different teams you can run with him. You can run him in a freeze team, and for that freeze team, you can use Kai, you can use Rosaria. Let me pull up the cryo characters you can use. You can use Kai, you can use Rosaria, or you can use Layla. Like I said, her cryo application is honestly pretty solid. And as for the Hydro bit, again, your 4-star options are very, very limited. Jincho, super solid choice for Wander. He uses Zato all the time. I think Candace is a pretty good option because she will boost just flat elemental damage. So if she's an option you want to take, you can, but she will not help for supporting him. She will not help you with with freezing that much. It will do a little bit. It probably will freeze enemies for a bit, but it won't freeze them for super long. And then Barbara, of course, would be nice for additional heals. Of course, this all depends on which characters you have. A lot of characters can support him. I wouldn't use Amber, but you could probably use her as a support, because he really does want a shielder or a healer. He will die otherwise. But Zhangling is honestly a really nice support for him because her Pyro Tornado, Kaya's icicles will follow Wanderer into the sky, while her Pyro Tornado will stay on the ground and hit the enemy. So that's really nice. Of course, Toma, you can just, shielder. I recommend you use a shielder, whichever one you have. If you don't have a shielder, put a healer on him. But I prefer shielder so he can't get knocked around. Besides that, a grouper is pretty nice for him, but he doesn't really need it too much because he is zooming around a lot. But that is how I would build Wanderer. Beautiful child. I've had him and used him for way too long. He is definitely going to go on the bench once I get some of my other characters built up more. I love him. He grew on me. I didn't like him at first. I was like, eh. And then he said, I will be your main, and he was my main for a solid 2 years there. But thank you for watching. If there are any characters you would like to hear how I built them, or how I would build them, I haven't built all the characters, then I am happy to listen to suggestions, but leave a comment below for that. I will eventually get good at talking. Someday. But that day is not right now. Leave a like if you liked it, and then there will be more to come. And then, also, would you like me to talk more about what I like about the characters, or fun little tidbits about how I pulled or got them? Because Wanderers I know is fun. Some of them I'm just like, I have zero recollection. They've always been there. I forgot not everybody has them. That's Razor. I had Razor for so long. But if you enjoyed, please do leave a like. And subscribe if you wish to see more. Thank you. Bye.